Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
XRP digital assets, and so here I am again, and I'm overloaded with really good news, and I've been overloaded with really good news from some of the people I know on Twitter that have sent me things, and so let's get into it. The first article I wanted to show you is that the former Deutsche Bank trader to create a $100 million crypto hedge fund. Now I wonder why a former trader in traditional finance would want to come to blockchain. This is supposed to be a fraud and all this. I wonder why they would want to do that. It says a new cryptocurrency hedge fund called XRP is launching in January. Based in San Francisco and Singapore, the fund has 4 founders, including a former Dutch Bank AG trader and private equity analyst. And it says Eugene NG, however you say that, ex-Deutsche Bank derivatives trader and Circuit co-founder says, despite what is happening with prices, we're seeing adoption growing, and a lot of people are looking to scale crypto business. We are starting to see talent moving into this space and institutional infrastructure developing. This is exciting times, folks. And then he goes on, he says, they were saying to gauge these developments, Circuit is developing an index that measures blockchain technology-backed digital assets. The metrics will follow 10 data points, including transaction volume, number of active crypto wallets, hash rates, web searches for articles on crypto, hiring of technology and financial professionals in the industry. So, like I've been telling you before, one of the natural parts of this, what he refers to as institutional infrastructure developing, one of the natural parts of that is these companies and hedge funds and ratings agencies, they've got to figure out how to measure which digital assets are worthy of investment so that they can turn and sell it to the investors. And so that's why they're putting this index together. They've got to come up with some kind of methodology to turn around and sell this to their clients. And so, like I've said before, since we're invested in XRP, the greatest digital asset ever created, they will eventually find that out in their metrics. I don't care which metrics they put together. And so at some point, I've said by the end of 2019, you'll see S&P 500, you'll see Fitch, and you'll see Moody's. They'll all be rating digital assets by that time. And the one that'll keep coming and rising to the top, just because it's the best ever created, is XRP. It'll be in, that's one thing. If you go and look at, this is an interesting exercise for those of you that have never done it. Go to CoinMarketCap. Go back as far as you can in the CoinMarketCap charts and look at the top 10 digital assets from year to year to year. And if you look at those top 10 digital assets, you'll notice that there's really only a handful, 2 or 3 or 4 maybe, that have continuously been in that top 10 from the beginning of this whole game, from the beginning of blockchain. And Bitcoin and XRP are 2 of them. Litecoin might be one of them. But those have consistently been there. And there's reasons for that. So anyway, moving along. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I can see the nasty comments already. We don't need Coinbase. But I wanted to at least cover the article. This is an article from the Global Coin Report, if I can get it to pop up. I got too many windows. I haven't done this in a while. When I first started doing these videos, please don't click on that advertisement. Anyway, this article is 3 coins Coinbase will adopt next. And you can guess which, and I was wondering, I have no idea why they put baby feet as the picture on this article. I was looking at that going, why'd they do that? Oh man, it did click on the advertisement. Let me go back. I don't know what that is. But anyway, this article is from Global Coin Report, and they were saying the 3 digital assets that they believe that Coinbase will add next. And I know many of you hate Coinbase. You don't care what Coinbase does, but I'm going to show you this anyway. EOS number 3, Stellar number 2, and you'll never guess what digital asset they think will be added first. XRP. Okay, that's all I'm going to show you on that. The next thing I wanted to show you was a tweet from Dr. T. He's a big guy in the XRP community. Really puts a lot of really good things. So follow him if you don't already at XRP Trump. This is a video from that conference, I believe in Singapore, where Brad Garlinghouse was on stage with one of the IMF people, and Brad Garlinghouse is talking about how banks are. I think he named a specific bank. I think he was talking about a bank in Singapore. Don't quote me, but anyway, he was talking about how this particular bank was beginning to not just use products by companies like Ripple and blockchain, but is also looking at digital assets now. And then Dr. T says a lot of things that we've heard for the last really 5 years. Banks won't use XRP. This is what all the naysayers have said. Banks won't use XRP. Banks don't need XRP. Banks are never going to touch XRP. Banks are too conservative to use XRP. Banks will make their own bank XRP. Banks are working fine today. Why XRP? Banks don't have regulations for XRP. Banks hate the volatility of XRP. Well, guess what, folks? Banks are beginning to look at XRP. Some of them are beginning to pilot XRP. It's happening. And you make sure you stay at this party because it's about to get really interesting. Moving along, I got some great stuff from some people on Twitter that I'm friends with. That's not what you say on Twitter. You say I follow and they follow me. They're followers of mine and I follow them. At XRP Crypto Wolf. This guy's knocking it out of the park lately. He sends me stuff all the time. And in his feed, you'll be able to see good XRP information too. So go follow him. He said he's referencing in this tweet, he's referencing this article that came out today. Bank of America wins crypto storage patent. And look at this. Now, remember, and I'll just read you his tweet and then I'll go over that. B of A's system stores private keys. The patent describes how this system would be able to store the holdings as well as facilitate transactions when authorized. Brad Garlinghouse was right about banks storing cryptos, and Bank of America is working with Ripple. So there's two things to really get out of that. Earlier this week, Brad Garlinghouse said that banks will be custodying digital assets within the next year. Here's probably, I guess, the largest bank in the United States, or one of the top 2 or 3. I mean, this is an article telling you that they are going to be holding digital assets. And I've told you before, they're either going to hold digital assets or they're going to become extinct. This is not just, oh, well, this will be a great product to add on to the bank. The banks that are not doing this will not exist in the next 5 or 10 years. And so Bank of America is smart. Bank of America is working with Ripple as well. But Brad Garlinghouse had said that this was going to happen in the next year, and it's going to happen. And I can't wait because I'm not anti-government, anti-bank. It's not that I want I don't think these people are all evil. I think that a lot of central banks, and I think a lot of banks have done really bad things and wronged the people of the world. And I believe that those will probably be the ones that do go extinct, because I don't believe that they're going to buy into the digital asset. I think they're too arrogant, and I think they're too used to the status quo and having their power. Those will probably be the ones who are too stubborn to go down this road. But we'll see. Moving along. Let me get rid of those two. Now, this is probably the biggest news of the day. And this is an article, IMF chief calls for exploration of digital currencies. That's Christine Lagarde, and she calls for exploration. She has been talking really positively about digital assets from the beginning. And remember, Guess who works with the IMF? Guess who behind the scenes has been doing things with the IMF? That's right, Ripple. Now let's look at a tweet. Now this is from @XRP_veteran. I got this tweet. This is her speech that she gave at this conference in Singapore. IMF admits digital currency can be a very important part of our life. IMF and Ripple working together. This sounds like music in my ears. And you can actually go to his tweet there and watch that video. Next, this is at XRP Crypto Wolf again. He sent me this on the same speech. The IMF news head Lagarde said central banks around the world should consider issuing digital currency. There may be a role for the state to supply money to the digital economy. CBDCs would be great because they would need a global bridge asset like XRP. Okay, let's go down. And this is from a BBC News article that was written on this. And XRP Crypto Wolf did a couple of quotes from her speech. The advantage is clear. Your payment would be immediate, safe, cheap, and potentially semi-anonymous, and central banks would retain a sure footing in payments. Ms. Lagarde said that central banks in Canada, China, Sweden, and Uruguay were all seriously considering digital currency proposals. She added that while the case for digital currency is not universal, it should be investigated seriously, carefully, and creatively. And then there's a link that he added that's a link to, it's called Winds of Change, the case for new digital currency. And this is the full text of her speech, and you should go and read this. It's unbelievable, people, what is happening in this space. And remember, Ripple created the Interledger Protocol, and that's what this is really about. These people, they can create digital currencies all they want, and it'll be great. But guess what it's all going to go through? It's all going to flow through that Interledger Protocol. And somewhere in that stack of flows, somewhere prominent is going to be one thing that's important to you and me, and that's XRP. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that XRP is going to be in the flows, the money flows of the world. And it's going to happen before you know it. Thanks for listening.